Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Feel It to Heal It podcast. All right, so we got some of you joining us live on Instagram, others listening to this on the pod, maybe some of you watching it on YouTube. Hello, hello, hello. All right, we are going to dive into today's topic of it's time to break up with future tripping, and here's how to do it. Future tripping is something that I work with my clients on literally every single day. And this is because our brains love to disconnect from the present moment because trauma disconnects us from the present. So today I'm going to guide you through how to notice when you're future tripping, what to do about it, how to respond to it, and how to come back to the present. We're going to dive into why future tripping is even a thing and what purpose it serves, why it comes up for you all the time. I promise nothing's wrong with you. You are so normal, and I'm going to make it all make sense today. So let's take a breath. So hold on, I need a sip of tea. I made a homemade chagachino, so I don't drink caffeine like coffee, but I just did the chaga with some hot water and like a dash of fresh coconut milk, and ooh, it is delish. Chaga is really good for like brain health and all of that. So meanwhile, Luna is drinking my flower water. So there's that. You guys can see her over here, just, drinking away. So we all got to do our thing. All right, so everyone sit up nice and tall and rolling the shoulders up and back, getting out any last minute wigglies and just settling into this present moment. You can place your hands down for grounding or up for receptivity. Sometimes I like to do one of each if I want to ground and receive. And let's start by taking a big deep breath in and release. And just noticing how your breath is feeling in this present moment. Noticing any thoughts coming up, just watching them pass by and then coming back to the breath. Noticing any sounds or distractions, noticing any emotions, and just allowing whatever needs to come up, knowing you are safe to be with whatever comes up in each present moment. Noticing any body sensations, any areas of tension or tightness. Doing a quick body scan, relaxing your brow line, your jaw, your shoulders, your heart, your chest, your abdomen, the base of your spine. Noticing any tension in your legs or toes or fingers or arms. And sending an intentional breath into any part of the body that needs it most. Noticing any resistance to slowing down, to being in your body, noticing your mind wanting to pull you out with thoughts, or this false sense of urgency, like you're running out of time, coming back to this present moment, knowing that time does not even exist. Now together, let's take 3 long deep breaths. So placing your hands on your heart, breathing all the way in, and slowly release. And again, breathing all the way in, holding at the top, and slowly release. And one more, breathing all the way in, and slowly release. And just allowing your breath to return back to its natural rhythm. And taking some organic movement, maybe some neck rolls or some side stretches. Oh, my neck has got a crack. And whatever other movement your body is needing. Oh, stretching feels so good. And when you're ready, you can come back. All right, let me know in the comments how that felt, anything that came up. Okay. So one thought I want to share, I was having this thought while I was getting ready for morning tea. Today's hair washing day, so I had to just whip it back in a greasy bun until I make it to the gym to shower. Or I could just shower at home, but I need to go to the gym. And throwing on some mascaras. And as I was getting ready for this, I was thinking about how I love just the flow of Morning Tea Live. Like I've been doing this now since pretty much the beginning of my business for like 2.5 years. And what came through was when you find what you're naturally good at, and then you monetize that and you use it to serve people, you feel so in alignment. So if you're struggling with like what to do for a career and you're like, I don't know what I want to do, think about something that comes so natural to you. Are you really good at design? Are you really good at editing videos? Are you really good at helping people? Like, what just feels natural to you? Because from there, and this could be a whole other episode, but from there, we take what's natural and then we just hone in on it and we just master it and we just become better at our craft. I was thinking about how it's pretty wild that I don't, it's like my client gave me this topic suggestion this morning because I asked them, I was like, guys, I don't know what I'm doing for morning tea. Do you have any suggestions, something that you want to learn more about? And my client Shana was like, yeah, future tripping. I was like, boom, how have I never done that before? And it wasn't this thing where I then had to go and prepare and write out a whole, outline of like, oh, what, how do I teach about future tripping? It's like, oh, boom, future tripping. Okay, I know how to teach on that. And it just comes naturally to me. Does that mean I've never struggled with future tripping? Fuck no, I'm human. It means that because I've experienced it, because I've healed it, because I work with my clients on it every day, I already have that foundation of knowing how to talk about it. I just then build on it and I master and I get better and better at helping my clients move through it more efficiently, more effectively. So when we are out of alignment, everything feels harder. It feels like we're trudging through mud. Like, oh my God, how am I going to present on this topic that I have no idea about, right? But instead it's like, oh, you're a singer, you know how to sing. You don't have to, yeah, you might do some warm-ups. You might, learn lyrics to a song, but you don't have to, like, you just can sing. And then from that natural foundation, yeah, sure, maybe go to some vocal lessons and get better at the craft. It's the same thing with anything you're good at. You love writing, start writing, and then you just get better at it. For me, my natural craft is teaching about these things. Like I'm brilliant at it. And from there, it just gives me that foundation of, because this feels natural. Sometimes we think because something feels natural, that's too good to be true to actually monetize it. It's like, why wouldn't you want to get paid to do what feels good and natural? Right? So, and it doesn't even have to be to get paid, right? I don't technically get paid to do Morning Tea Live, but this is part of my business of how I attract clients. So it's, whether it's to get paid or not get paid, like focus on what feels natural and build off of that. We are so hard on ourselves as humans where we think we have to be good at everything, and we're wasting so much time and energy trying to be good at something that we're not naturally good at. And then we're not spending time actually doing the things that we're naturally gifted at and then stretching ourselves from there. So if I'm really good at playing piano, but I hate soccer, and I'm like, I have to learn how to play soccer. Why? Instead, I took 11 years of piano lessons. For those that don't know, I play piano. So it was the same thing. Growing up, I played piano and violin. Violin, I was not as good at. Piano, my piano teacher literally said I could go pro if I wanted, but I hated practicing, so I never wanted to do it. So I spent time doing piano, right? So you focus on what you're actually good at and release this need to be good at everything. So anyway, that could be literally a whole other episode, but that really came through strongly as I was doing my makeup. I was like, oh, how cool is it that I get to just wake up, ask my client for a topic request, and all the prep that's necessary is whipping my hair in a bun and maybe putting on a shirt other than my pajamas. Great, like easy peasy, So with that being said, I encourage you to just think about Where are you not believing that you can get paid to just be you for your natural wisdom and knowledge? Like life gets to be that good. Okay, so let's dive into the topic. What is future tripping? If you're like, what the fuck is this future tripping thing? Trust me, you've done it. You just may not even know what it's called. Future tripping is where you are physically in this present moment and your mind is trying to figure out something in the future, the time that has not happened yet. So if we want to get really existential here, in the quantum field, time doesn't actually exist. So is there a future version of yourself that already is? Yes. For example, you guys know I'm writing a book. I wrote my first draft and I'm working on the second draft with my, I have 2 editors that I'm working with. And my mom, who passed away in 2019, I connect with her in the spirit world. She's like, this book is already done in the 5D. You just have to physically bring it to life in the 3D. Now, I have free will in that. I could choose not to write a book. I could choose, to leave it at the first draft and not listen to the calling of my soul, which means, which basically has been telling me that I could dig a little bit deeper and make it even more helpful for people. But the fact that it's already done in the 5D, in the spiritual realm, means that I have chosen to write this book. And so technically that future version where the book is done, or where that apartment you're manifesting and you're like, where's it? Like that apartment already exists. Or for me, I'm single and I know that like I don't really believe in like trying to look for someone. I think that every significant relationship I've had in my life, they've just come to me naturally when I'm least expecting it. I don't really believe in like going like trying to find a person. And that's just me personally. I don't have the time or energy or desire to spend on dating apps or going on dates. It's more of just like, oh, my person will come when they're meant to come, and it will come in the most least expected magical way. And I literally don't have to put any effort into going out there and finding them. What I do have to put effort in is focusing on myself and becoming an energetic match for the type of partner that I want to attract, which is really just the type of person I want to continue becoming. So with all that being said, where was I going with that? I kind of lost my train of thought. Oh, that person already exists. So it's like the Michael Bublé song, I Just Haven't Met You Yet. That partner already is walking, pooping, cursing, drinking water, having sex, playing a video game. Well, my future partner doesn't play video games, so maybe he's not playing a video game. He's already doing all of that, right? He's living right now. Just like sometimes I think about, I don't know, this is just me, but sometimes I think about like, what is, let's see, what is Taylor Swift doing right now? What is Beyonce doing right now? Ryan Gosling is in this moment doing something right now. Ashton Kutcher, like, think about any actor you like or any singer you like they are living their life right now in this present moment. It's like, oh, what are they doing? What is Lady Gaga doing right now? What is Britney Spears doing right now? Like all of these different realities exist. And so technically the future version already exists in this present moment. We just can't necessarily see it or access it. But anyway, that might be a little too existential for this topic. The point is that we only have this present moment. The past only lives in our bodies, in our minds, but the past is not here right now. It lives through the photos in your memories in your iPhone. It lives through the videos that you've taken and captured those moments. But the past does not actually exist. The future doesn't actually exist. Everything, both past versions of ourselves, future versions of ourselves, future partners, homes, books, business ideas, all of that, that's quote unquote in the future, already exists in this present moment. So future tripping is when your mind is trying to figure out something that hasn't happened yet. It's when your mind goes from this present moment to, well, what if this happens? And what if that happens? And what if, and it's like not even in reality. So the reason why future tripping exists is, drum roll, the reason why all of our annoying protectors exist, to try and protect us. It's a false sense of safety. It's, oh, if I can figure out what this person is going to say to my text message, then I can figure out how I'm going to respond. And then I can figure out how to prevent any shame or any humiliation or any pain or any disrupt in the relationship. Our brains are always trying to figure out how to keep us alive. And if there's any threat to a relationship, if there's any threat to, potential judgment, rejection, criticism, our minds will do anything to try and prevent that. So future tripping is when we are disconnected from the present and we're trying to figure out, oh, I'm going to live in this place because I like this place. Okay, you can live in that place. Great. But what are you doing in the present moment to create that reality? For example, when I wanted to move to San Diego, I knew in my whole being I was meant to live here. But that didn't mean that every moment in New York, I just spent fantasizing about San Diego. It meant that I hung up this beach picture in my office as a form of manifestation, as a reminder. I put my screensaver as the San Diego Ocean Beach Pier, which is the town I happened to move to. And I allowed that vision to be in the forefront of my mind as I did what I needed to do in the present moment to create that future. So in the present moment, when I was in New York, I would do my clinical hours to get enough hours to be able to transfer my licensure. This was before I quit the therapy world, to transfer my hours to California to get licensed there. And this move was really the first time that I really started like questioning, I have to do an extra exam and hours just to live in a different state. What if I want to move again? I don't want to be limited based on where I can practice therapy. That's dumb. So here we are coaching, where I literally had a session with a client who's in a country near Turkey. Like, so fucking cool. Anyway, when you think that there's a limit to something, that only exists in your mind. So you're trying to figure this out as a way to feel safe. And by doing that, you are not actually focusing on what you need to do in the present to create that thing that you want so badly. So if every day I'm like, oh my God, I want a partner and blah, 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 and I just spend time fantasizing about that, that's not actually creating that reality. Focusing on this present moment and trusting my own divine timeline and not going too far into the future. And this is where it gets tricky for people, because in the manifestation world, yes, we need to know, okay, what do we actually want in our lives? Right? Okay, I want to move to San Diego. I'm going to then take active action and believe that I can move to San Diego in the present moment while living in New York. Now, here I am living in San Diego because of that present moment action and belief. So we future trip because it feels safer than actually doing what we need to do to create what we are future tripping about. Let me say that again. We future trip because it feels safer to future trip than to actually do what we need to do in the present moment to create what we're future tripping about. Now, what do you need to do in the present moment? Some of you need to be doing less. Some of you need to chill the fuck out, sit down and breathe. Some of you need to stop trying to figure out what you need to do. Some of you need to just breathe and be in this present moment, like really be in this present moment. It is the only moment we have. I could die 5 minutes from now. I could die in 50 years from now. I have no idea how long I've left on earth. I don't need to know. All I need to know is in this present moment, I am safe. I am breathing. I am alive. And I will die whenever I'm meant to die. But in the meantime, how do you want to feel when you're alive? Do you want to feel stuck in your head fantasizing about something that's not even real? Or do you want to actually believe that you are safe to create your life? So what do you actually desire? And how are you moving through the present moment to create that? And then where are you then getting to that manifestation that you wanted so badly, and then not even appreciating it, not even enjoying it. And then you just move on to the next thing, right? Like, oh, I'm manifesting $5,000. Oh, you get the $5,000. You're like, okay, it's time to manifest more. No, it's time to sit and be in such deep gratitude for the $5,000 that you wanted so badly. You want that future house. Okay, why do you want that future house? Oh, I want it because it's dreamy and it's going to be magical. And okay, how are you making your current home dreamy and magical? There's a client who really wants to move to a particular part of California because she sees other people living there and it looks magical. And I said, how are you making your current home magical? Like, where are you disconnecting yourself from the desire by placing time and blockages between it when you literally could experience a version of that right now, but you're attaching meaning to that future version being the better thing? For as long as you, perpetuate the idea that there's a better thing out there that you haven't achieved yet, you are going to miss your whole life. You're going to wake up or you're going to be on your deathbed and you're going to be like, damn, I missed out on my whole life. And there's nothing more heartbreaking than that. There's nothing more heartbreaking than you feeling like you missed out on your life. And what is your life? The present moment. Right now, right here. Not 5 minutes from now, not 5 minutes ago, right here. Now, why does trauma disconnect us from the present moment? Because that stored pain, that's historical, that past that lives in our bodies, that is the only place the past exists, is in our bodies. That wiring from childhood is keeping your body stuck, relating to the present from the past. And so what do I help my clients do? I help process that stored pain out of their body so their body can relate to the present through the present moment. So let me give you an example about future tripping, and I notice this all the time with my clients. Okay, so we're so fucking sneaky. I have a client where, she'll think about all these possibilities, right? Like, this is a possibility, or this is a possibility. It could go this way and it could go this way. And yes, it's good to remember all the possibilities, but also, why do we need to figure out what could happen? Why can't we just allow ourselves to be in this present moment and allow whatever's meant to happen to happen? Now, if you're struggling to release future tripping and release control, it can be helpful to, let's say you're manifesting $5,000. It can be helpful to say, okay, what are the possible ways this can come through? To get your mind thinking about those possible ways, not to figure out the how. There's a difference between that. Okay, I want to manifest $5,000. Oh, it could come in through, 2 one-on-ones and one person signing up for my membership and one person buying Powerfully Single. My mind is seeing, oh, there's ways. The way that we think it's going to happen is rarely the way that it actually happens. Let me say that again. The way that we think something's going to happen is rarely the way that it actually happens, which is why you trying to figure out how it's going to happen is an utter waste of your time. Waste, 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 waste. We waste so much time and energy. And so in every moment, you have to bring your mind back to the present. We spend think about a social interaction. You get an email from someone and you're like, maybe it's a client, and you're like, okay, how do I respond to this? Well, if they think this, then I should respond this way. If they say this, but what if I say this and they think this? Like it's like, stop, no, focus on what do you want to say? You say that, stop trying to figure out what the other person's going to say. We don't know, and we don't have to know. And half of the time we spend worrying about that stuff and the person just responds, okay. I had a client where I was helping him draft out a message to this girl that he was breaking up with. And he spent so much time, so much energy writing it out, thinking about, how is she going to perceive it? She literally wrote back, okay. And I was like, see all that time and energy you put. Now, there's a difference between spending time and energy in an intentional aligned way. Like for him, he really needed to share what was on his heart. But the part that was an energy leak was trying to figure out, well, should I say it based on how she's going to perceive it? No, you can't control that part. So communicate what's on your heart in an intentional, grounded, clear, aligned way, and release the responsibility of how the person is going to interpret it, receive it. Like, obviously, you're a conscious human being. You're going to communicate in a kind way. You're not going to be a dick about it, right? So we can't control, we can't know. And so future tripping is very intimately tied in with the need to know protector. It's like I'm future tripping because I need to know how this future thing is going to unfold. Why? Why do you need to know that? You literally don't need to know it. You are safe without knowing. You don't need to know it. We think we need to know, but we don't need to know. We are safe without knowing. So let me give you an example. When I was a kid, there was a lot of shit going on where I found out about things after they were already happening, and that felt incredibly unsafe for little me. I found out about my mom and my stepmom breaking up through an email, basically that my mom was getting back with her ex. And that meant for me that I no longer was going to be living with my stepmom who raised me for 8 years, that I was going to be living with someone else that didn't feel safe. None of that felt safe. So yes, needing to know back then served me because it didn't feel safe not to know. But that's because I was a child and my safety was in the hands of someone else. So then our inner child carries that wounding and carries that wiring into the present moment. And we think, well, if we don't know, then things are going to be out of control. Things are already out of control because they're not supposed to be in your control. What's in your control is showing your body in every moment, whatever happens, I can move through it. Whatever's meant to happen, because what's the worst fear? The worst fear is death. We're all going to die. We're all going to die anyway. So you might as well enjoy the moments that we have in this present moment. And this is where faith comes in of if you associate death with this like horrible, scary thing, then you're not actually living. And you're not actually connected to faith, because faith tells us that we are souls having a human experience. So death doesn't actually mean our soul dies. It means that we transition from this lifetime and incarnate to another. And that's based on whatever you believe in. But as an old soul, I can tell you I've reincarnated many times, and I fully know that in my entire being. I have lived many lives, and it's eternal. Like that never ends. I will continue to live more lives and more lives and more lives. It's literally never ending. So time doesn't even, it's like this made up construct that we use to organize our days. And that can be really helpful, right? You guys know to tune in 10:30 a.m. on Wednesdays for Morning Tea Live. That's great. I'm so grateful for time. It's when we use time to be like, oh my God, I have to get to this future things. I'm running out of time, and then I'm going to die and regret that I didn't live. How do you actually feel? If you had a choice between doing 10 things half-assed, half presently versus 5 things fully present, what would you choose? I'd always choose the lesser amount of things, but being more fully present. And the beautiful thing is you don't have to choose. You get to do as much as you want to do and experience as much as you want to experience, but not from this place of urgency and survival mode, because then you're not actually going to be able to enjoy it. You're not actually going to be able to soak up the present moment. And the present moment is all we have. So it's your responsibility to tend to that younger part of yourself, that inner child that's just terrified of not knowing, who's terrified of releasing control because all she's known is, I need a control to feel safe. That was based on the past. That's not based on the present. You actually don't need to control. You got to focus on what's in your power, which is trusting that whatever comes up, you will be able to know how to relate to it or learn how to relate to it differently. We're not supposed to know everything. The magic, the endless possibilities, the abundance, the expansion, the things turning out in ways that we didn't even know, that exists in the unknown. I shared the story in my membership, and I'll share a brief version of it, and you can get the full story inside the membership. I, as you guys know, did a VIP weekend with my mentor for my birthday, and I missed 2 flights, and I missed my flight getting there, and I was forced to drive with 2 strangers. Now, my human self was livid. I was angry. I was sobbing in the San Francisco airport. But God and the universe knew that there was some divine orchestration happening. We are intentionally going to have her miss her flight. And you know what the wildest part about is, now that I've like kind of tapped into these more psychic abilities that I have, I felt it that morning. I felt this unsettled feeling in my stomach of like, you're gonna miss the flight. And I kept checking the time and I was like, no, I have more than enough time. I have more than enough time. I have more than enough time. Why do I keep thinking that I'm gonna miss the flight? And I never get that feeling on travel days. So I knew that something was already feeling off. And that was my body kind of predicting what was about to happen because the flight was delayed. So I had more time. I had way more than enough time, but it meant that I was going to then miss that connecting flight. And my body knew that. And there was nothing I could do about it other than trust that that was happening for me. It was happening for a reason. And the reason was that I was meant to meet that couple. I didn't know why at the time. I thought maybe they were supposed to be just fun friends to have in San Diego that I can go to concerts with because they're really into music festivals. I thought, you know, maybe there's some client potential here. Like I didn't know what it was supposed to be. And I got to my mentors and we had the VIP and she was like, I think he's meant to be in your men's group. And throughout that drive, we started diving into his childhood trauma. And I was like, he literally, like, we both looked at each other. We're like, I think this is why we're meant to miss the flight. And sure enough, he joined my men's group and now he's my client. And so he was meant to find me to guide him, and I was meant to find him to guide him through a 7-hour road trip together. Now, could I have ever anticipated that I was going to attract a client that I was meant to work with through sobbing in the airport in front of them and going on a 7-hour road trip with strangers? Nope. But there were lessons for me in that. There were lessons around patience. There were lessons around releasing control. There were lessons around things being messy and not looking perfect and not having as much time. There were lessons around scarcity and abundance of, you know, oh, I paid for this expensive weekend. I'm going to miss the first night of it. And oh my God, I wasted all that money. And it's like, no, I didn't, because look at that. I gained that money back and I gained the lessons, which is way more valuable. Just as valuable, if the money, if not more, because those lessons are what makes you more money. And those lessons are what transforms you as a human being. And that's what we're here to do on earth, is transform and learn. So how to heal and break up with future tripping is the first step is noticing. Notice anytime your brain goes to this future tripping place. What if this? What if that? What if that? Every time your brain starts a sentence with what if, I want you to take 3 deep breaths. What if it all works out more beautifully and magically than expected? Let's replace these what ifs. What if you're not supposed to know how it all turns out? Because that would ruin the surprise that the universe is trying to give you and spoil you with. We had a man drop out of, we had 2 men drop out of the men's group last minute. I was really upset because these men need this work so badly. And there's nothing more frustrating than when you want something more for someone than they want it for themselves. And so I had a choice of how to relate to that. I got to feel my human emotions because we don't bypass that. We feel the human emotions. And then we get to say, how is this happening for me? And I don't know. I don't know yet because I'm not supposed to know yet. But I do trust that there is a reason why those two men dropped out of the group. Either we're making space for two more aligned men, or it's meant to just be the two that we have now. I don't know, and I don't need to know. That takes the pressure off. What I do need to do is continue to show up for why I want men to join this group, why this work will change their lives, why I believe so passionately in Real Men Heal. That is my work. My work is to believe. My work is to trust. My work is to surrender. My work is to look for the gold and extract the lessons out of this shitty situation. Because it was shitty, and that's okay to acknowledge. We don't always have to like put it in a bow and a silver lining. We get to be like, oh, that's really shitty that, that these people dropped out. It's really shitty the way that one of them did it. It's really shitty. And it's all happening for me. So thank you, universe, for the shit. That should be a title. Thank you, universe, for the shit. We always get to choose how to relate. So first step is noticing. Notice when your mind is going to all the what ifs. Replace the what ifs with something else and take 3 deep breaths into the present. And then what do I actually know in the present moment? What do I actually need to refocus on in the present moment? So if, let's say right now it's March 13th and I'm like, okay, my goal is to have a 5-figure month. And I'm spending all my time like future tripping. Well, what if I don't meet my goal? Or what if I don't have enough money for this? Or what if that? Or what if this for like, blah, 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 blah. Waste of time, waste of time, waste of time, waste of time. I want you to literally have that in your mind on repeat. Waste of time, waste of time, waste of time. We waste so much time, which is ironic because we're all so worried about time. If you're so worried about time, start using that time intentionally. And then maybe you won't be so worried about time anymore. So waste of time, like that needs to come up. So for example, when my clients go into future tripping, I won't even go down the rabbit hole with them. I won't even placate to it. I won't even engage in it, which is something that's very, very different with this work and working with me than the version you would have got when I was a traditional therapist, when I would have just sat there and validated and engaged in it and just talked in circles for 45 minutes just for you to feel a temporary relief, and then you would have gone back to ruminating in your mind. Now I help you save time because I have saved time. I used to ruminate and future trip all the time, and now I'm like, nope, waste of time. So anytime I catch myself going into the what ifs or the things that are not actually relevant or in existence in this present moment, waste of time. Boop, refocus, 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 refocus. Waste of time. Oh, refocus. Like literally, it's like a drill sergeant in your head, because that is how we rewire the nervous system, which then rewires our minds, is through repetition. Which is so ironic because we hate repetition. We hate, our nervous systems love it, but we hate having to do something more than once because it requires us to give up the thing that we already have wired as the norm. So if overthinking, we do that on repetition without even trying, but then to rewire out of overthinking into being in the present moment, that requires repetition. And then we get resistant to that. And it's like, well, you have no problem repeating the overthinking. Why do you have a problem with repeating the coming back to the present? It's because our nervous systems resist change. It resists what's foreign. It resists releasing what it has known as safety in order to replace it with something more effective that also can help you feel safe, which is feeling safe in the present moment. So when my clients start going down the rabbit hole, well, what if this happens? What if they respond this way? What if this person's upset with me? What if this? What if I don't make enough money? What if this? Blah, 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 blah. I say, come back to the present. Nope, come back to the present. Nope, come back to the present. Like literally, you can ask any of them on Voxer. I'm like, nope, come back to the present. Come back to the present. What's happening in this present moment? Oh, there's fear coming up about the future. Okay, well, the fear exists in this present moment that we can focus on. How do we focus on it? We feel it. We feel the fear. We don't avoid the fear. We allow the fear to be here because we're humans and fear is going to be here. That we can focus on. You staying stuck in your head down a rabbit hole of thinking about things that literally don't exist, waste of time. You tending to the fear of releasing control of the unknown, very good use of time. That's why this podcast is called Feel It to Heal It. We have to feel the fear, let it move through our bodies rather than taking over. Taking over means it's unconsciously replaying the what if scenarios in your head. Coming back to the present means taking a breath with the fear. I'm showing my body in this moment that it's okay to be afraid, but that there's not actually anything wrong, and that no matter what happens, I am safe. Because it's all happening as it's meant to happen. That was the biggest shift in how I felt going from anxious to grounded and calm, is that when I was anxious, I thought it was all up to me to control. I didn't really understand that there was a higher power. I heard about it. I would pray to God, but I didn't really believe it. I literally thought it was all up to me to control. And what happened was when I started to release the control, the universe rewarded that courage. And I started seeing more evidence that there is a higher power, that we are supported, that we are being guided. And based on that evidence, it built my faith and built my trust. But in order to get that evidence, you have to do things differently to begin with. You can't control and then expect the universe to reward that control by showing you. You have to move first and the universe responds. You have to take that leap and then see that you have to believe. Faith is believing even when you can't see it. Luna, you are in my way. She's so cute. So, all right, we're going to start wrapping up, but I would love to hear how this is landing for those watching live. What are your questions? Let me know. Let me know if I can clarify anything. Future tripping is one of the strongest protectors that we have that keeps us stuck, and it feels challenging to release, but it's a continual repetition of practicing. Oh, I'm going here. Oh, refocus. Like it's just refocusing, and tending to what's actually happening in the present moment. Luna, you're blocking me. She's really all up in this camera. Okay. So let me know if you guys have any questions, thoughts, feelings, if you need any guidance on this. And for those that are ready to process that stored pain out of your body so that you feel safe to stay in the present moment, not go here. And again, I'm not telling you not to manifest your future, but that happens through the present moment. And it doesn't happen through fantasy. It happens through believing and taking action in the present moment and showing your body you're safe to create your future from the present. Everything happens through the present. You want money, you want a relationship, you want new housing. It all happens through the present moment, which is such a relief. Like it's such a relief that we don't have to control everything, that we don't have to like work harder, we get to work smarter. Like what a relief. It takes the pressure off, right? To just feel so supported and held in that. So if you were ready to process that pain out of your body, we have opened those 2 spots in Real Men Heal from the 2 men that dropped out. So we're keeping enrollment open for the next week. This men's group, if you are a man listening to this or you know a man in your life, please spread the word, because this men's group will change your life. It will help you rewire out of survival mode, release your anxiety, release your shame spiraling, release your overthinking, actually feel safe to process that stored pain, tend to your younger self, and actually create your vision. We had the first call last night. It was so beautiful. These men are already leaning in such courageous ways. And this is really for you if you struggle with addictive behaviors, which all of us do. Literally, Netflix binging, weed, porn, sex, dating, video games, movies, TV, like anything. Work can be an addiction. If you want to release those addictive behaviors, feel more connected to yourself, Real Men Heal is a place to do that. And then I also have some one-on-ones open, as well as spots in my membership group, which is weekly live trainings. Luna is like real needy right now. Are you a little cutie? Look how cute she is. Anyway, thank you guys for being here. I love you so much. If you have any questions on future tripping, how to release it, I would love to hear when you actually practice these steps of noticing, refocusing, tending to what's coming up in the present. Those are your 3 steps: noticing, refocusing, tending to what is coming up in the present moment. Those 3 steps. Repeat and repeat some more and repeat some more. I needed to hear this. Thanks. You are so welcome. Thank you for joining. And I will see you on the next episode. Love you guys so, so much. Take time to come home to yourselves every day. Okay, love you. Bye. Ow, Luna. Luna's like really fighting me right now. Okay, I'm trying to end this. Okay, bye.